So what's the deal with this fire character? This figure, I bought it because it seemed kind of nice from afar, but now I'm looking at it close up and it's got like just messed up details. Like this face is actually painted on, but it doesn't follow the contours of the actual sculpt. So it's actually uh like it's just not right. The eyes are like in the eyelids. And then this whole figure itself is like she's got like some other clothing that was part of this. This is like a template. I could tell this is just like a recoloring template. They just made it out of clear green, but it was probably like a Catwoman or something. Like the chest, she's not even like wearing anything, and she should be wearing something. There should be like a tube top or something here. But anyways, I'm not happy with this character. I don't like the hair being static like this either. I would rather just color her flesh tone and then have her in a proper costume. And so I'm actually going to be figuring out what Fire's outfit was at the time of Superman Doomsday, and then putting her in whatever costume that is. And so I think it's probably one of these. I think it's probably this one. So that seems to be the one, and that's the one I'm going to make. It's because, and then I'm gonna have to fix her hair too. I'm gonna have to sculpt something completely different that kind of just falls, and it's maybe more malleable. It works just as a regular figure that's not in fire mode, if you get my meaning. And then I was also looking at for ice, and there was no ice figure. There was like a 6-inch one that was shorter. And the ironic thing about that is that I figured this character probably looks more like it. And what annoys me about this figure is that this is Ciri from The Witcher, and I bought this figure and it's supposed to be 7 inches, but it's not 7 inches. It's like 6 inches. And I understand that Ciri is like a teenager in the TV show, and this actually is from the TV show, and it does actually resemble her kind of, but obviously like they didn't make her face look that good, and her hair is not that right either. And so it was kind of like a slightly middle of the road effort there. But anyways, I guess I could still work with it and make it into ice, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use this head. I may have to shave her head down a bit, like her nose, and then add some kind of hair to get the bob going for the ice that appears in the Death of Superman arc. So it's kind of like more like this kind of character. And so I'm gonna try to get this going with this figure, and I think I could do it. Anyways, so I'm working on Fire's legs, and because of whatever template they used, there's like a kind of a thigh-high boot on it, and so there's like a ridge preventing this from being used just like a normal thigh. And so I tried my best to sand it down, but it seems like there's just gonna be something visible there. I don't know if the paint's gonna be able to cover it, but I'll try my best to get rid of it. So this is the current update for Fire. So I learned that this was really hard to paint, especially this groin piece, because it's actually really soft. It's more soft than it was on the Superman. And so if you kind of bend it even a little bit, the paint starts to flake and just peel off. And so I'm not sure if this is going to work long term, but so far this is what I've got for the costume. I feel like I could have done more with the boots and with the outfit in general, just because there's a lack of three-dimensionality to the painting. But I wasn't sure how to proceed with that. I tried using some putty for the shoulders here, and just getting this the white part of the model here. And it was really hard to blend into the main model without it, and it was hard to make symmetrical as well. And so I'm learning about how difficult it is just to customize these guys. And then working on the head, I chopped off the hair piece and I repainted the face, and so it looks kind of washed out here. But making the hair was super hard. I'm not really sure how to use Milliput, and so what I had a better time doing was actually letting it dry and then doing some carving into the Milliput, because when it was just soft, it kept going this way and that when I tried to like put in details. And so that was the first time ever experiencing this Milliput stuff. And I don't know, I feel like this hair is not quite right. It kind of sticks out too far. I don't know if there's a way to soften Milliput after it's hardened, but this is basically, I cut off the original hair, and it was kind of hard to do. I had to like kind of really dig in there and get it out. But once it did come off, the hair did come off, and so this is the old hair, and so This one just always perpetually up and to the side, which makes no sense to me. And so I actually like the new hair better, but obviously everything looks really dull and weird right now. But like I was the situation with the Superman. Once I seal it, it starts to look a little bit better, and so we'll see what happens after that. So this is another update on this figure. And so I've learned that just painting on details looks really like bad. And so you basically have to create geometry in order to act as sort of like borders for the color. And then it just gives it, like, it just fleshes it out, gives it a lot more dimensions. Now her hair is screwed up permanently. I'm just not going to bother worrying about this from now on. Just leave it like that. And then her boots, I've given some dimension to that, but it's still kind of not that detailed. I really have to figure out how to master sculpting these things without the material breaking. And so this is the milliput, and whenever you cut into it, it just creates these holes. And I'm sure that you can smooth them out with like some water and stuff, but the problem is that it just hardens too fast. And so unless you're working in very small amounts, you're just always going to get like just weird anomalies, and then it's going to dry too fast and you won't be having enough time to fix it. So anyways, this is the probably final update I'm going to make on it, even though like there's just so much weird blemishes and stuff. It's just getting risky now to keep modifying it. So I'll just leave it there and just chalk it up to a learning experience. So this is an update on the ice figure, and so if you see what I did, I added these little rims to kind of make it seem like there's a long white glove here. I cut her vest so that it could show the midriff area, and then this midriff area itself had to be sculpted because it's normally just empty. There's nothing there because the vest covers it, and then there's a skirt that comes down. That's a flexible material, and so I just took that off and completely just made one out of milliput. And then I also added these furry, it's supposed to be furry, but these details to the boots. And so yeah, I learned a lot from working on the fire figure, is that yeah, if you sculpt the details, then it doesn't look as bad when you're kind of painting it. And even though this part here is just flat and there's two colors, blue and white, it doesn't look that bad because it's a clear contrast between it. But yeah, it's still rough. Everything looks rough. Oh, her hair is also sculpted, by the way, and I kind of trying to get used to adding details to it. But the problem is that when I'm adding details into milliput on one side, I have to brace it by holding the other side, and then so I'm always kind of smoothing out one side or the other side, and there's just really no good way to do it. I just feel like milliput's very limited, but at the same time, milliput dries on its own, and so if I made her hair out of something else that like something that needs to be baked, then I would just melt her head, because I'm not really sure how else to approach that. But anyways, I'm actually happier with this than I am with the fire figure, but it is rough. Everything's rough, and I'm just learning a lot about how this paint, it just clumps up a lot, and then all the flexible material, like the flexible material for the pelvis, the flexible material for this, and even her hair and head and stuff, it kind of makes it very difficult to paint because the paint just cracks and it comes off. Look at the bottom of her vest there. Because this is flexible, it just doesn't stay. And so yeah, I'm not really sure. I think there's a reason you try to sculpt all of these flexible materials out of the solid color that you're ultimately going to end up with. But for custom figures, not really a lot you can do. So you just got to be happy with what you got. But yeah, I'm otherwise happy with this, because before it was just like this Ciri figure. Is that her name? I can't remember. From The Witcher, whatever her name is. And now it's basically ice figure. She's 6, like I said before, when I bought her it said 7 inches, but it's because it's a teenager, and I didn't really think about it, but she's actually a 6-inch figure. I just wish they marked it as 6-inch figure, to be honest, but I feel like it's fine. Like, she's a good size here. The fire figure, she's the same size as my Superman, so I feel like she's too tall now, and so maybe I should just get 6-inch figures for girls, and that would actually increase my range of people that I can customize the figure with. But other than Maxima and Lois Lane and maybe Supergirl, I'm not really planning to do a lot of female characters.